Good evening. It is 7:33, and I would like to call to order the February 14th, 2023 meeting of the Common Council. If you'll please rise and join me in pledging allegiance to our nation's flag. And please, if you would, remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On February 6th, last week, we lost one of our own, Norwalk firefighter Craig Saris. Craig served the city of Norwalk for over 25 years and was an extremely dedicated firefighter. He loved his job and his fellow firefighters. He worked in every Norwalk fire station during his career and served for as long as his health allowed while battling cancer. His decision to continue to work while suffering from cancer speaks volumes of his character and fierce commitment to the safety and well-being of the residents of Norwalk. During his career, he received 2 department commendations. The first was in December of 2005, when he and his fellow firefighters from Engine 3 dove into the Norwalk River to attempt to rescue victims trapped in a vehicle. The second was in November of 2011, when he and other firefighters from Engine 4 rescued an unconscious man from carbon monoxide poisoning. Firefighter Saris helped locate the victim in the basement of his house and carried him to safety, ultimately saving his life. Firefighter Saris was well respected within the department and known for being friendly, humble, and conscientious. His passing is a great loss for the Norwalk Fire Department and our community. He will be truly missed and remembered for the hero he was. Finally, I want to thank the neighboring fire departments, including Stamford, Westport, Rowayton, New Canaan, and Fairfield, for providing fire station coverage to the city of Norwalk so that Craig's brother and sister firefighters could attend his services on Monday. Please join me in a moment of silence. May he rest in peace. Clerk, if you'll call the roll.
Mr. Burnett.
Present.
Mr. Camacho.
Here.
Mr. Goldstein.
Here.
Ms. Najolski-Eichner.
Present.
Ms. Smith. Here. Ms. Ayers.
Present.
Mr. Ugelman.
Present.
Ms. Revoluz.
Present.
Ms. Young.
Here.
Mr. Kites. Ms. McMurr.
Here.
Ms. Alterman.
Here.
Mr. Meek. Mr. Livingston.
Here.
Ms. Shanahan.
Here.
13, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of January 24th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Shanahan, any corrections, deletions, omissions, additions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have public participation. Do we have anybody waiting? Did you sign the sheet, Tanner? All right, well, come on down, and you'll be the first commenter. And then if we have anybody looking to make comments from the Zoom, if you would check on that.
All right, this is the first time I've attended in person in over 3 years. I'm grateful for the opportunity to do so. I wanted to speak about 2 items on the agenda. First of all, the appointment of Ben Hanpeter, who I'm privileged to call a friend. I chair the Bike Walk Advisory Commission, and I'm bummed that I'm not getting Ben on the Bike Walk Commission, but he is going to be an incredible asset to the Zoning Board of Appeals. They're lucky to have him. Ben's a very thoughtful person. He's also a very well-read person when it comes to matters of land use and also transportation. He's participated very directly in a lot of the events and other work that the Bike Walk Commission has done. He does good work. So I wholeheartedly recommend him to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Secondly, I wanted to speak on the contract that's up for approval with Vidi Excavators. This is something that that TMP has kept us up to date on the Bike Walk Commission. This is largely going to be used for sidewalks, to my understanding, and it's a very welcome project. As many of you, I'm sure, know, the TMP conducted a sidewalk audit where they nailed down exactly where all the sidewalks are in the city. And before that, they didn't actually have a database or a map of all the sidewalks. And now we do, and we know where the gaps are and where the low-hanging fruit is to improve our sidewalk network. And that's something actually the commission had been asking for a long time. And we finally got it. And now, if this contract is approved, that will give TMP the resources that they need to start filling the holes in the sidewalk network that they've been able to identify using that audit. So I'm looking forward to it tremendously for the benefits that it'll have to walkability in Norwalk. I also want to point out that in addition to being good for walkability, it's a good for good government and for, I think, for efficient spending. It doesn't make any sense financially to take a sidewalk project that's maybe 50 feet of sidewalk and put it out to bid. There's a lot of overhead in going out to bid. And this contract that is for various projects, it's kind of an on-call contract or a catch-all contract that will allow TMP to do lots of these little projects that otherwise wouldn't be economical to put everyone of them out to bid. So I'm very happy to see it, and I hope that it gets approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody online or on Zoom that wishes to address the council?
If anybody online on the Zoom meeting would like to speak and address the council, please raise your hand electronically. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We will close public participation. Next, we have resignations and appointments. As you can see, thank you to many common council members and others. We're able to fill a lot of the vacancies that we've had. So I really appreciate that. The first is a resignation for Sharon Benante from the Library Board of Directors. Thankfully, she's going to continue to serve on the Commission on the Status of Women. And I want to thank her for her service on the Library Board of Directors. Next, we have 4 appointments to the Fair Housing Advisory Commission. Do I have a motion? Ms. Nicole Ayers.
Mr. Mayor, it is my great pleasure to have the opportunity to call the names of 4 of our pillar citizens of Norwalk: Mr. Jalen Seed, Reverend Dr. Richard Clark, Joe Mann, and Sherry McCready Pritchard. These are people who have offered themselves to service. These are individuals in our city who have a very level head and an open heart when it comes to making sure that both sides of a situation is being heard. I think these type of qualities and characteristics are what the city really strives for and needs for our Fair Housing Advisory Commission. So I am very elated today to raise the name of these 4 people and know that they will continue to serve as they have already served in various capacities for our city, but they will continue to serve and serve us well on this commission. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Ayers. Any further comment or discussion? Ms. Darlene Young.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to echo my colleagues' sentiments about these 4 individuals. As we say, you know, they've dedicated a large portion of their lives to the city of Norwalk, and that should not go unnoticed as we are appointing them in varied positions right here in fair housing, but each of them in their own way have done so much in other areas for the benefit of everyone in the city of Norwalk. And we just appreciate when people raise their hand to serve. And these folks have been doing it for a very long time. And so we appreciate them for that.
Thank you. Any further comment or discussion? Anybody on Zoom wishes to raise your hand for comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the appointment of 4 individuals to the Fair Housing Advisory Commission?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention. Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have 2 appointments to the Zoning Board of Appeals for alternate members. Do I have Mr. Steve Ferguson and Mr. Benjamin Handpeter? Ms. Young.
Mr. Mayor, I will talk briefly about Mr. Ferguson, who is another Norwalk resident who has dedicated so much of his time and commitment to the city of Norwalk. And when you read over his resume, he has a very accomplished career in banking, which serves a lot of people well in the city. But he is committed to Norwalk and has served on the Planning and Zoning Commission for, I think he said 4 terms or so, and that's a very long time. And he is very willing to be of service and is now going on the Zoning Board of Appeals as an alternate. And we just appreciate Steve Ferguson for the time and commitment he's put into this.
And Mr. Handpeter as well. So we're moving both of them.
Mr. Josh, Councilmember Josh.
Hey, Mayor, I just wanted to say a couple words about Ben Handpeter quickly. A lot of you have probably met Ben before. He is young, he's passionate about housing and housing policy. He's been very involved with the Bike Walk Commission, as Tanner said earlier, but also, and he's been helpful with us. I know I got to work with him on an event we did with Congressman Jim Himes last year to promote the Norwalk River Valley Trail. I've always found him to be conscientious, smart, dedicated. He's an engineer with ASML. And I think this is a welcome appointment. So I will gladly support Ben Handpeter's nomination.
Thank you. Any further comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have Amy Richardson for the Conservation Commission. Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move Amy Richardson for the Conservation Commission alternate member and say a few words. Amy has a real passion for the environment as displayed in her educational training, as well as her professional career. She has a master's degree in environmental law and policy, and currently in her professional capacity, she's with the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection and has extensive expertise in the permitting process. So this type of background and skill set will really be welcome to the Conservation Commission. So I'd like to move her name for this appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. Any further comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have Lunice Constant for the Fair Rent Commission. Ms. Young?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, you know, I think as a city and as folks here around the table who volunteer their time to serve, and we all are of a certain age, we all now look to the younger generation to kind of step up into positions. And so I look at Lunice Constant, who is in her early 20s, who's recently graduated from college with a 3.8 GPA, a very smart and intelligent young lady. And so I am just pleased and honored that we as a council are forward thinking in this and are able to move to put young people on committees. And so I'm excited for the possibility for her, and I'm excited for the possibility for the city as we move forward in this way.
Thank you for making those recommendations as well. Any further comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next, we have Ashley Gullius, Commission on the Status of Women. Do I have a motion? Mr. Josie Eichner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is my pleasure to nominate Ashley for the Commission on the Status of Women. Ashley is by profession a music teacher, but really her passion in many ways is education. And one of the things that I really admire about her is that she has made tremendous efforts to educate herself on diversity, equity, and inclusion far beyond her professional commitments. In fact, I recommend people check out her Diversify Our Parenting Instagram /Facebook/amazingness if you want to learn all sorts of wonderful things about ways to incorporate diverse children's books into your kids' lives. And she is also well known in the community for her work with the First Congregational Church as a director of programs. I really want to express my pleasure that she's agreed to serve on the commission. I think that she will bring a really valuable voice to the really valuable work that's being done there. And I appreciate her willingness to serve.
Thank you. Further comment or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have two appointments to the Board of Estimate and Taxation, Mr. Kendrick Constant and a returning member, Ann Yang. Do I have a motion? Ms. Young.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the last name is familiar to Lenise. They are brother and sister, and they come from the same family, brilliant young people. And I have to say again, if we look at his resume, this was really the BET is a good appointment and place for him. He has a strong history, education in finance. And I have to say this, Mayor, he came through the Mayor's Summer Youth Employment Program. And so did Lenise. And so we're just excited about that. And if we're always talking about how do we keep young people in the city, this is one way to do it. They have a vested interest in how the city operates. So I am happy to put forward Kendrick Constant for member of the BET.
Okay. Further comment, Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to bring forward the name of Ann Yang for the Board of Investment Taxation. I've served with Ann on the BET. Ann has an extensive financial background and skill set as a managing director with large financial institutions, as well as a business owner for her own company. She has served on several boards and commissions in Norwalk and has, I'll say, a very unique approach of asking probing questions that generate.
I think we can all agree with that.
But they generate a better understanding of the issue. And more importantly, they help the thinking in terms of creating solutions. And that's really important. So I am looking forward to Ann's contributions on the BET once again, and all the good work that's ahead for the committee and for Ann.
Thank you. Any further comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of appointment of Kendrick Constant and Ann Yang to the Board of Estimate and Taxation? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Ann is with us. Would you like to make a comment? I don't know if we have any other appointees here.
I would like to say that I look forward to working with the mayor and the common council and looking at the finances and the budget for the city. It's a great city, and I enjoy serving and trying to make the city a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the appointment of Peter Fulham.
I think there's, Your Honor,
I'm sorry?
There's another gentleman there, Peter. Is that Ben?
Oh, Mr. Hampeter, would you like to make a comment?
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I apologize. I didn't really know the normal way of doing appointments. I didn't know if people usually got to speak after they're confirmed or not, but I know I haven't met some of you, so it's nice to be here, and I'm looking forward to serving on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I've got a really big interest in housing and land use policy, and I've been doing a lot to try to learn more about how it works in Norwalk. I've been attending P&Z meetings for about a year now, and I've spoken at a number of the hearings, and I'm really looking forward to having the opportunity to serve directly and yeah, to make a difference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the appointment of Peter Fulham to the Norwalk Parking Authority. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Camacho.
Yes, Peter is the owner of Fulham's Inc. on 104 Wall Street. He's been in business for 40 years. He was my neighbor in Harbor View when my kids were little, and so I knew him and his wife well, and his family. He's a generally a good guy, and obviously he's been in business and has a vested interest in this town. So I think he would be great for this the parking authority.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Next is the appointment of Susan Dunlap to the Board of Assessment Appeals. Do I have a motion? Mr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I'm pleased to nominate Susan Dunlap to the Board of Assessment Appeals. She is a full-time real estate professional. Prior to doing that, she spent 25 years working with design firms, including some major Fortune 500 companies. She's a member of the National Association of Realtors, Connecticut Association of Realtors, and so she really knows the business. She's lived in Norwalk for more than 30 years. Is very involved in her community, also serving as a director of Hilltop Homes and is chair of their renovation committee. So I heartily recommend her.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of appointing Susan Dunlap to the Board of Assessment Appeals? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Now we have Mr. Geraldo Williams for the Library Board of Directors. Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Geraldo, as we all know, has been an active member of the community, volunteering on several boards throughout the several years that he's lived in Norwalk. He currently serves on the Ethics Committee. He really has a strength in terms of his strategic thinking and combining that with his expertise in business process. I think that will serve him very well as being a strong contributor to the library board. So I'm extremely excited about bringing forward Geraldo Williams' name to serve on the library board, and even more excited to see the work ahead that he will deliver to the library board.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Ms. Najolski-Eichner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just briefly wanted to say I had the pleasure of working with Geraldo on the Board of Ethics, and I found him to be methodical and detail-oriented and deeply committed to the city. And I'm really grateful that he's added to his service now with joining the library board.
Yeah. Thank you. Further comments? I know I coached Geraldo's son, Omar, in Little League, and now he is a federal judge. I don't think I had much to do with that. So all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. And finally, we have Ms. Carol Frank, reappointment to the Fair Housing Advisory Commission. Do we have a Ms. Young?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So last but not least on this list is Carol Frank. And like my colleague mentioned, dedicated to service. Ms. Frank has dedicated much of her life to community service for the city of Norwalk. I don't know what else we could actually say about her, but reading off the Redevelopment Agency, member of the Newark Housing Partnership, the Newark Chamber of Commerce, Kiwanis Club, and I'm sure it goes on and on. There are a lot of things that probably aren't on this list. And I think she is the epitome of what volunteerism looks like and dedication to the city of Norwalk looks like. And
Absolutely.
so I'm just happy that she is still willing and able to participate with city business.
Any further comments or discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is mayor's comments. I just have a few. One, as you know, there was some confusion relative to public participation in the budget process for this evening's meeting. We do want to hear from the public about their concerns about the budget, what their thoughts are. We will be having two public hearings coming up. The first meeting where the public can share their thoughts on the budget, besides emails and other letters that we get, is Thursday, February 23rd at 6:30 p.m. at the Common Council's Finance and Claims Committee public hearing. The second is Wednesday, March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. during the Board of Estimate and Taxation public hearing. So you can learn more details about these upcoming meetings on our website, norwalkct.org. Also, I'd like to acknowledge Black History Month. During Black History Month and all year long, the city is reaffirming the extraordinary contributions of Black Americans that they have made towards our city, our state, and our nation. I want to thank everyone who joined us last week as we raised the Pan-African flag at Heritage Wall, commemorating Black History Month. This new tradition recognizes the African diaspora as it struggles for Black liberation, equity, and freedom. On another note, this Friday, February 17th, applications close for the final phase of the city's COVID-19 Small Business Grant Program. If you haven't made your application, please do so. We've only got a few more days left. Interested parties can go to norwalkforbusiness.org to learn more and apply. Additionally, we want to spread the word among our business community that the city is hosting its quarterly business roundtable breakfast on February 22nd at 9 a.m. This event will give members of the business community an opportunity to learn about several local and state programs designed to support their businesses. There's also an opportunity for the city and the state to hear from the business community about how we can strengthen our efforts to support them. And last but not least, I wish everyone a very happy Valentine's Day. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one comment. It is very encouraging to see the number of women that have been appointed to boards and commissions that we just approved. And I hope we continue in that direction and trend. Moving on to the consent calendar, Councilmember Ed Camacho will be reading the consent calendar for this evening.
Trial by ordeal.
President, first on the consent calendar is, that's item number Roman numeral 7, right? All right, so public safety, Roman numeral 7A, public safety and general government. Authorize the police chief to change the verbiage in the 2021-22 capital budget account stated from the purchase of 10 Ford Interceptor Explorer hybrids to 10 marked police package vehicles. Item number B in the economic and community development area. Number 1, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute a contract with the Wonderlust Group, Inc. for DACWA subscription services for 1 year in an amount not to exceed $2,000 with a 5-year renewal option, account stated. Item number 2, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an on-call contract with Karen and Fazio LLC for appraisal services in the amount not to exceed $10,000, account stated. Item number C, of Public Works. Number 1, a technical correction of the Common Council action of April 13, 2021, item Roman numeral 7C2A, to add accounts designated for the pavement management program, account stated. Number 2, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute a second amendment to the agreement between the City of Norwalk and Teague and Bond, Inc. for construction, inspection, observation services to extend to the agreement for the second of the 2 optional additional items of 1 year, billable on an hourly basis for an amount not to exceed $450,816, numerous accounts stated. 3A, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement with Kelowna Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project RD 2023-1 curb and sidewalk for Spring Hill Avenue for an amount not to exceed $1,181,662. Several accounts stated as well. Item 3B, authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on contract with Kelowna Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project RD 2023-1 curb and sidewalk for a Spring Hill Avenue for an amount not to exceed $118,166.20. Account number stated. Number 4, accept the extension of is it Sear or Sire? Sire Hill Road, I believe, from the north corner of the driveway of Glen Rock Condominium, open paren Sire Hill Road side, close paren, to the southerly property line of 15 Oakwood Avenue as a city street as per the map filed in the Department of Operations and Public Works entitled, quote, improvement location survey depicting stone commercial real estate condominium, Norwalk, Connecticut, prepared for Stone Realty Associates LLC, dated November 21, 2022, last revised December 13, 2022, at a scale of 1 inch equals 30 feet, prepared by Redness and Mead. Item 5A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with A-Vidi Excavators LLC, project TMP 2022-4, concrete services, ADA ROW, improvements at various locations for an amount not to exceed $500,000. Numerous accounts stated. Authorize the Director of Transportation, Mobility, and Parking to execute orders on contract with A-Vidi Excavators LLC for project TMP 2022-4, concrete services, ADA-ROW improvements at the various locations for an amount not to exceed $50,000, numerous accounts stated. Number 6, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for construction inspection of NRVT Trail Phase 2 project in the total amount not to exceed $22,300, account stated. Item number D, Recreation, Parks, and Cultural Affairs. Number 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with Norwalk Public School, Rowayton PTA, for the use of Rowayton Elementary School field and immediate surrounding grounds for the Rowayton School Carnival 2023, to be held on Friday, May 5 and September 6, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Setup time to begin on Sunday, April 30, 2023 at 8 a.m. with a tear down on Monday, May 8, 2023 at 5 p.m. Rain date, Sunday, May 7, 2023, approximately 500 people each day. Number 2, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with 99 Bottles Events for the use of Oyster Shell Park and immediate surrounding grounds for their 99 Bottles Craft Beer Festival, to be held on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Setup time to begin at 9 a.m. with a tear down at 6 p.m. Approximately 999 people, no pun intended. Number 3, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with NICE, Inc. for the use of Oyster Shell Park and immediate surrounding grounds for their 7th annual NICE festival event, to be held on Saturday, July 8, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Setup to begin at 6 a.m. with a tear down at 11 p.m. Approximately 500 plus people expected. Number 4, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into an agreement with the South Seaport Association for the use of a Veterans Park and immediate surrounding grounds for their Oyster Shell Festival event. Their Oyster Festival event to be held from Friday, September 8, 2023 to Sunday, September 10, 2023. Setup time on Friday, August 18, 2023, with a tear down by Saturday, September 30, 2023, approximately 40,000 people expected. And item number 7, technical correction, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with FGB Construction for project number RNP 2022-2, CAF Pasture Beach Parking and Green Infrastructure Improvements for a sum not to exceed $1,973,035. That's based on the following breakdown: $1,365,292, which is the base bid, $278,000, which is the alternate 1A, 1B, thermoplastic markings, beach and water, and $36,461, alternate 2, maintenance of driveway and water main crossing. $135,392, alternate 3, South Park lot, and $157,890, alternate 4, which is Shady Beach, accounts stated. F, accept and approve the report of the Claims Committee dated 2023. Number 2, for informational purposes only, narrative on tax collections dated February 2023. Number 3, for informational purposes only, monthly tax collection report dated January 2023. Number 4, requesting a special capital appropriation in the amount of $425,000 to increase the appropriation to fund account stated Silver Mine driveway improvements. This capital appropriation shall be funded through $425,000 of authorized but unused general obligations of bonds or notes of the city. The $425,000 of bonds or notes of the city shall be issued in accordance with the provisions and terms set forth in the original bond resolutions that authorize the issuance of the bonds or notes of the city for project, once again, account stated. Number 5, request approval for the extension of the software agreement with Vision Government Services, Computer Assisted Mass Appraisal, CMA, including certain cloud services during the revaluation for amount not to exceed $35,694 for 2 years, account stated. I believe that's it. Is that correct?
That completes the consent calendar. So do we have a motion to approve? All those in favor? Show by a raise of hand or verbal aye.
Aye.
All those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? The consent calendar for February 14th is approved. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Burnett. I believe that brings us to Ms. Young for item 7D, 5A, and 5B.
Yes. So we're at 5A and B. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Grilling, to enter into a contract with GIA Corp. For the Oyster Shell Park Bench Repair Project number 4256 for an amount not to exceed $230,027. Account number noted. 5B, authorize the Director of Recreation and Parks to issue a change order for the Oyster Shell Fence Repair Project in an amount not to exceed $23,000. Account number noted.
Ms. Young's moving the item. Comment, Ms. Young?
So we have, I think we have Mr. Stowers and Mr. Ken Hughes on. They can talk a little bit about this project. And we thought it was important for people to know that this is moving forward. It's a safety issue, and we are addressing that with this project.
Mr. Stowers?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity to talk tonight, and council members as well. Thank you. We last year, a couple of months after I arrived, Ken and I think one of the other down to the park, we've been getting complaints about the fencing, and it's about 1,000 linear feet of fencing. But we've been fortunate to get some ARPA money, and we were fortunate to get a bid within our budget by GeoCorp, and so we want to move ahead with this. It's somewhat of a safety issue, but it's also an aesthetic issue with the park. It just doesn't look good, and so we've got a good design now, and we want to move ahead and get construction started. So we're here to get approval for that.
Thank you, Mr. Stowers. Mr. Hughes, do you have any further comments?
So just to clarify, this is the fence that runs along the water from the Lookout Pavilions on the east side of Oyster Shell, running all the way down to the Maritime Center. also including 2 other fishing piers along the way. It's a wooden fence. We've been replacing with plywood, throughout the years. It does, as Mr. Stowers says, look horrible. So our carpenter actually came up with a really good design. We had an engineer take a look at it. We did go out to bid, and the results tonight are the awarding of that bid.
Any questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. I think this is a great thing. My wife and I were walking there the other day and noticed that the fence really needed replacement. This is really good. Ms. Young, item 6A and 6B.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 6A, authorize the Mayor Harry W. Rilling to enter into a contract with Grind Line Skate Parks, Inc. for the Calf Pasture Beach Skate Park project number 4237 in an amount not to exceed $1,411,896.92. Account numbers noted. 6B, authorize the Director of Recreation and Parks to issue a change order for the Calf Pasture Beach Skate Park project, account number 4237, in an amount not to exceed $70,594. Account numbers noted.
Ms. Young moves the item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And so again, we have Mr. Stowers and Mr. Hughes to speak about this. And actually, I think we might have a rendering to show. And I like the idea at our Recreation and Parks Committee meeting. Our committee members thought this was a great project to highlight in the city because it's really going to be a major improvement, not just for the park itself, but for young people and families in the city of Norwalk. And it's just going to be amazing. I don't know if you have the rendering to be able to put up.
Yeah, it's this project is I think one of the best projects I've seen since I've been here. Being a person that's seen a lot of skate parks, this is probably the best design I've seen. And Ken has been working on this for a few years, and he deserves all the congratulations once this thing gets up and constructed. But we have through our capital funds over a few years, and we've got sufficient funds now to do this project. So I'm gonna let Ken's gonna give a brief presentation.
Sure, thank you, Robert. So we've been working with New Line skate park designers for the better part of a year now. We've held several community forums where we did, gather input from stakeholders and users of the skate park. And those sessions were very valuable. I'm not a skateboarder myself. So, we leaned heavily on the input from the public. New Line was an excellent company to work with. They did come up with a first-class design, which I think everybody's going to be, impressed with. And I see it coming, becoming a destination, within the city of Norwalk. So if I'm allowed to share my screen, I could take you guys just kind of for a brief presentation of the rendering of what the new skate park will look like.
Can you allow Mr. Hughes to share a screen? Okay, you got it.
Everybody's able to see that?
Yep, we are.
Okay, so the new skate park is going to sit within the existing footprint of the existing skate park. So over here are the basketball courts, which will remain. This is the new entrance to the beach where the new gatehouse will be. So the new park is going to be 100% concrete with a few metal rail features. There are different levels throughout the park. Right now, there is wood and laminate fixtures, which we actually repair constantly. So this is going to be a huge upgrade just in terms of durability. The designers did play on the water theme of Norwalk with this little bowl in the back corner of the skate park. And you can see the water theme, sort of throughout the park in terms of colors and textures. So a lot of the local skateboarders are very excited about this project.
What time, when will that be anticipated completion?
So my desire was to actually start end of the beach season and finish the following spring. The problem is this is a concrete construction project. So the contractors do not want to work over the winter due to the unpredictability of the weather. So we'll actually be starting this as soon as we enter contract with the contractor. later on this spring with the hopes to finish by fall of 2023.
Any comments or questions? Ms. Smith?
Yes, thank you. I just would like to just commend you for the work in getting this done. The skate park had fallen into such bad disrepair, and my own son, who is grown now, really took advantage of that old skate park, spent many hours there, did the camps, had a lot of fun, and it really was important in his youth and in his growing. What I see here is just terrific. I see lots of ollies and kick flips and lots of fun going on there. Real benefit to the kids and really raises up our parks.
Ms. Young?
So I have to say, we should be the first to test out the skate. Sure that the ambulance is there.
And I'm sure my new hip will serve me well.
I'll take pictures.
I'll take pictures. That's how we have to open this, but I have to say, Mayor.
I feel the love.
You feel it, right? I have to say, and I've been saying this in committee, and I'm going to say it publicly as often as I can. I think with the reorg, that was one of the best things for recreation and parks. And I say that because it brought us Robert Stowers. Ken Hughes is still there with all the information and the knowledge and the energy like no one else. And with Sandy Korkatzis, we are really taking the recreation and parks to another level for the city and really becoming that part of the city that's also going to generate some income. But people move to communities because of their parks and activities and open space and things to do. And so we are on the right track. And I commend the city and you and your leadership and Robert and Ken and the entire staff in Parks and Rec.
And that was our
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Hilverman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just really quickly to reiterate, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Stowers, Mr. Hughes. I mean, this is a long time coming, and my son still goes down to the skate park and, you know, loves it. And it's a place that people congregate on a Friday night in the summer, and just looking at that rendering, it really hits my heart. I think it's going to be wonderful for the city. It's wonderful for those kids that aren't, you know, the traditional sports kids, and it gives them another place to go and enjoy and, you know, have fellowship and camaraderie, and hopefully, you know, not too many scrapes and bruises, but, you know, that's all part of it. So I want to say thank you to you guys.
Thank you.
Any further?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to reiterate what my colleagues have said, but I also wanted to ask, because of the timing of this project, how will that impact the skate camp summer? I think it was a skate art camp last summer.
Yeah, the skate.
How will that be impacted?
So I think the plans for Sandy are to transition that to just an art camp for this summer. We did already notify the instructors that the skate park will be under construction. And honestly, they're super excited because they know what the finished project is going to look like. So they'll forego the skate park for one season in order to get the end result, which is going to be a skate park that's going to last for the next 20, 25 years.
It'll come back bigger and better.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. We appreciate all your work on this. And
thank you.
Look forward to more projects like this for our families and our kids.
Any further comments? You know, and if you haven't seen the design for the new parking lot, you know, the money we're putting into the beach, which is probably the best beach on the East Coast. Now we're making it even better with the new design in the parking lot. There'll be nautical themes, a lot of different things. It's going to be very exciting. And I want to thank Robert and Ken and the engineering team for all the things they've done to make that happen. So seeing no further comments, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I guess that brings us to Mr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move items 1A and 1B together and make a brief comment. Item 1A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with B&W Paving and Landscaping LLC for the Silvermine Elementary School driveway improvements project for a total not to exceed $1,744,000, pending a special approval of a special capital appropriation of $425,000, which I note we did in the consent calendar. Funds will be available from a noted account. Item 1B, authorize the NPS Facilities Department to issue change orders on this contract for a total not to exceed $174,500. Again, pending approval of the special capital appropriation of $425, which we just did, and the account noted. This is a project that's been in the works for a while, but it's a project that's been needed even longer. The purpose of this project is to address long-standing safety issue at the school. This Silver Mine Elementary School has had a single drop-off for both parents and buses for years, and the purpose of this project is to separate the bus and parent drop-off, make the school a the access to the school much safer for everyone. As I said, it's been in the works for a while. Probably, I think COVID was even got in the way. The costs have gone up a bit since we first talked about it, but part of the reason for the costs going up is that there are additional costs associated with the drainage work that was needed to do this project. But all in all, it is a tremendous project that will again address a long-standing safety issue. And if there are any questions, Mr. Hodel is available.
Any questions or comments? Ms. Smith?
Yeah, just a comment. The Silver Mine community has waited a really long time for this. It's been such a safety issue.
Yes.
So I really support these funds going towards this effort. It's too bad COVID got in the way of a lot of things, but it's finally happening.
Further discussion or comment? I too agree. You know, the parents have called and sent emails and just so concerned about dropping off their children. They have to cross the driveway while cars are coming down the driveway. That was a disaster waiting to happen, and I'm so happy that we're finally going to be taking care of it. I thank the council for putting that forward. So seeing no further comments, I will call for a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Revolus?
Motion to adjourn. So sorry, my baby was fighting me. I couldn't get to the unmute. Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Ms. Revolus at 8:25. All in favor?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. So, we're adjourned.